Hey folks, for this week we're going to continue our conversation about developing a literature review and literature to support your research question or your topic. And one of the things you can do, we've talked about how you kind of develop a literature review based on peer-reviewed articles, kind of culling out that information and using that to support your position or how you may actually do some of your work. But what I wanted to do is there are several other ways in which you can use literature or use other. So there's also other ways that you can use media to support your project. So for instance, what I'm going to show you, you have this website here, www.studsturkle.org/hchimes.php. I've talked about Studs in the past. Studs Terkel wrote several books. One of them, in which we're going to look at here, is called Hard Times. And Hard Times is really based on people's experience during the Depression. But what we're going to do in this case is we've developed our literature review from peer-reviewed articles on how people actually experience the Depression. But one of the things I'm interested in is more of what's the kind of social impact of changes in wages. And so what I've done is I've selected two interviews, one with Ed Paulson, another one with Buddy Blankenship, and we're just going to listen to these, and I'll show you how I would go and collect information from key informants. The idea here is, again, I'm looking for data as it relates to wages, how those wages were distributed, how the wages changed over time, and those kind of things. So
What got I was just finished high school in 1930, and I walked out into this thing, and it wasn't a great absence of money. It was just that the things I'd been doing since I was 14, job hunting, looking for a chance to earn a little money and buy some clothes, because we had to be pretty self-supporting by the time I was 14 on, you bought your clothes. But all of a sudden it got tougher and tougher to do. And when I started to work at 14, I was good for $4 a day. By 1931, you were working for $1 a day, and in 1933 I was working for $10 a month as a cowpuncher.
Where was this?
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah, when the Depression hit, we were on the West Coast, the state of Washington. Then, when I graduated from high school, I drifted down to California. And that was so tough. I mean, you can't imagine. It just wasn't anything
How
you
old
could
were
get
you
to
when
do.
you drifted down to California?
1930. I would be 19 that fall. I was 18 years old when I
Left
came
your
out.
family.
Left my family and drifted down there. And first went to San Francisco. Tried to get a job on the docks. You know, I thought I was a big husky athlete. I'd played football and basketball in high school. I thought, this is a place to look for work. I didn't have a college degree, and already by that time, if you were looking for a job in Standard Oil service station, you had to have a college degree. It was that kind of a market. But I thought I was big and strong. There just wasn't any work. And then I drifted on down to L.A., and I got a variety of jobs selling ice cream, hustling sheets on Hollywood Boulevard, just working in a cafeteria. I remember Equity was on strike, so we got a job. We'd work in a cafeteria for your board. You got $1.30 worth of food a day for hustling in the cafeteria. You carried ladies' stuff. And then it was too tough. And I headed back east, where I had a brother working on a railroad and a bridge gang.
You're in the 20s now.
This is still 1930.
Still 1930?
Yeah. And I drifted back, and I got a job on a gravel crew, a road gang, and then drifted up to another part of South Dakota and got a job in Harvest. And then my brother and I decided we'd go east.
okay, so it's a 15-minute interview, but you'll notice that what I was doing at the time as he's talking is I'm taking information and I'm just kind of filling in the blanks. So what I would say in my literature, I would just quote it just right from Studs' interviews, right? So for instance, Paulson suggests there it just kind of sneaked up on us. There wasn't a great absence of money, right? So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of going through and I'm filling in the different components. And then what I would do is I'm just gonna, I would go and then I would also do the same thing with Buddy's interview. And so I would listen to Buddy's interview.
The trap door was shut, so there would circulate through and went to work. I worked from
Killed in the Chicago area known as Uptown.
I went to work in the mines. I was about 15 or 16 years old and had about 14 miles to go to school. I had to walk it. And I told my dad, I ain't going to school no more. Well, he said, if you don't want to go to school, why, you just come on and go to work with me. I went in the mines and went to work. I worked from 30 till about 31. It's about the last of 32.
How far was the mine from where you lived?
8 miles. 8 miles. We had to ride horseback. We rode horseback all the way there. Many times that I'd have to get off behind my dad, where I'd sit behind my dad and get off and hammer his feet out of the stirrups. Be froze to tighten the stirrups, but I'd have to knock his feet loose.
Suppose you describe your day. You were 15 working the mines. What time did you get up? You have to get up now, Joe.
Well, we got up at 5 o'clock every morning. We started work at 5 o'clock every morning. Had to be at the mines at 6. And we got out at 10 that night.
You worked about 16 hours
About
a day.
16, 17 hours. The boss said we had to clean it up. If we didn't clean it up, there'd be another man in the place the next morning to clean it up. To stay there till we did clean up. The motorman would say, how many more cars you got? We got 5 more. Boy, hurry up. We want to get out of here. It's getting awful late. They was getting $1.75 a day. We was getting 25 cents a ton for loading it.
How many tons could you do a day?
Well, we'd get 60 to 65 tons. That is, both of us get 60, 65 ton a day.
Were you and your father?
Yeah.
Oh, you helped your father?
Yeah, I worked right with him. And then they changed me off and gave me $1.50 a day and let him load by himself and let me work company work. I was trapping. And that big door, you know, I'd open it up for the motorman so the men could get air. See, the trap door was shut, so the air would circulate down through the men. And I'd keep it shut till the motor come along. When the motor come along.
Okay, again, so all I've done is I've just kind of gone and taken some quick notes here from this key informant, Buddy. And I would do the same thing that I did before. So I would go through and I would kind of pull out each one of these interviews from Studs' work and use that as my kind of fill in the blanks for key informants. It may sound like you're doing data collection, but it's really no different. What you're doing is you're just taking audio and you're transcribing or transposing that into text to support your question or your research methods. So hope this is helpful.